HappiDaze here, and today we're doing day 4 of Grand Party Season 19. Kind of a very quick season right after the last one just ended, but you only need 10 wins this season to get all the 4 rewards, so hopefully we win one match today, we get all the rewards, and we can just kind of play around for the next couple of days. So let's go ahead and hop into Grand Party itself. Just a quick reminder, when you're done for the day, make sure you set your captain to someone who is a non-burst legend. Let everyone get to those wins in case they are people who just don't have as good accounts. Just let them get a good chance to win. Preferably a team that is hidden, last team, just so people can kind of get the full scope of the different teams that you have out there and can kind of plan. So let's go ahead and get into it. Just going to take a quick look at some of these teams here. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and take on... Do I want to take on this team? Not quite sure. They do have the new Luffy. The only down part here. Actually, you know what? I think I will take on this team, but I think I'm going to save... I'm going to have the Strength team go second, and then have my Slasher team go last. Obviously, that puts my Int team against their Slasher team. It's probably going to get absolutely destroyed. But yeah, let's just see what happens. No harm doing it. Let me just check this team real quick. Yeah, I mean, the top one's probably the safer win, technically. And I could always update just to find a team that could win against. But let's see what this looks like, right? What's life without a little bit of danger there? So as I mentioned, I'm going to have my Free Spirit team go first. I'll have my Strength team go second. And then I will have the Slasher team go last. Unfortunately for us, we'll probably charge their burst with our second match, which will give them a burst as well for the last match. But we'll see what happens. Obviously, that Slasher team is pretty crazy. So yeah, let's just get into it. If we lose, we lose. It is what it is. So if we get lucky, we get them to use their burst on this first stage, but I just don't see that happening. We are going to hit them for a ton of damage on the second stage, just because we have type advantage there, and we have Max Luffy, you have Jack who does the HP cut. So I don't know. Well, we'll see what happens. We do have special reverse here, which is nice. You have both the Vegapunk as well as the Bonnie. Typically, when I was facing the Slasher teams in the Pirate Rumble, I was using, yeah, that was just a nasty hit. I was basically using Anami Karina to just kind of help reverse some of those specials, and that's really what you have to do if you want to be able to beat a Slasher team, just because they get their attacks off so quick. I think you probably saw how quick they got their attack off there, and they just hit like tanks. Uda's doing respectable damage there. We have Vegapunk here. Unfortunately, we don't have Luffy coming up at all, which is definitely a pain for us. So yeah, I mean, if Luffy went, there might be a change. Once Roger Whitebeard goes, it's pretty much over for us. Oh, actually, he didn't wipe out the Luffy unit. So actually, you know what? Let's see. Let's see what happens if I use the burst here. Ideal situation, I get them to use a burst really quick on match 2, and we just see what happens there. So I haven't used the burst yet. If they actually use the burst, they actually probably kill the whole front line. But yeah, well, we'll see. The AI will probably save it for the second match there. All right, so we won that first match. I really didn't think we would, so it's kind of interesting that we were able to go ahead and get the victory there. We're going to take a hit off Rip here. They're going to use their special. Now, the G5 special can just about take out pretty much the whole front line of the Strength team. I think you're going to find that he's probably going to take out or get them down to like 25% health. The only good news for us there is that then we have Kobe who can give a shield when that happens. And also them doing that charges our burst, which just helps us out. We don't have many free spirits except for that law, so obviously that's a huge win for us. And you know what? We're just going to go ahead and use our burst, and the real goal is just we want to get their burst charged, so that way they use it so they don't have it against us in the third match. And then I'm pretty sure that we can take on whatever team they have in their third match with... perfect. Exactly what I was hoping would happen. Our Slasher team should pretty much be able to beat any other team that they can throw out there. So I'm guessing they don't have the Int team there because they have the Int Luffy on this team instead. So I'm guessing that that last team, might be a quick team, might be a free spirit team. We'll just have to see what it is. But either way, we shouldn't have too many problems. Our Slasher team is just ridiculous. So yeah, let's see what their final opponent is. And this is why I said at the end of the day to set your leader to someone in that third slot that you have there, just so people can kind of guess what your team is there. So yeah, it's a quick team. In terms of dangers here, there's really not many. Yeah, Conjurer obviously in the back row gives a lot of defense. Zoro can do a 4K hit if he's max little limit break there. Akainu can do the 35 HP cut, which is obviously always bad. But yeah, I'm not really too worried at all here. Like I said, our Zoro Sanji should hopefully be able to go right here. Oh, unfortunately, he just missed out. Otherwise, he would have gave everyone their specials. Module right band should be able to take out 2 units there. They do. Good. Cracker's going to come in and take out a couple more. So Zoro is ready. He's the only real threat there just because of his 4K hit that he can do. But the fact that he wasn't able to get it off pretty much means that it's going to be a pretty easy win for us for that last match. So yeah, it was a tough match, definitely. And that's why we want to go with the setting your captain strategy. And that's also why this season is nice that you can do unlimited retries, unlimited updates. Just makes it a little bit easier for everyone to get the wins there. You don't want to be facing these kinds of battles on day 5 where you have to get to 15 wins to get the max rewards. So there we go. We got to 10 wins, which is good. So everything else now is just gravy in terms of what we get. So we got a bunch of gems, 5 more, a red ticket, which is always good. So yeah, let's go ahead and I don't know what team we want to take on. Do we want to try to take on the strength team? You know what? Why not? It looks like it's probably a side team in the middle there. So because our burst obviously gets charged by taking damage, and the G5 team can hit pretty hard. I think in terms of order of how I want to do this, I don't think I want to have a mirror match just because... actually, no, let's do a mirror match. Why not? Yeah, why not, right? If we lose, we lose. It doesn't matter. Just try to see what happens here. So the goal is for us to hopefully get a victory here, or at least get our burst going. Even if they kill our whole front line, we can use our burst to take out pretty much all their guys. As I mentioned, the downside of the strength team is just that they're glass cannons. You can kill them pretty easily with a burst special. It makes it really easy to get through there. Looks like our Kobe is going to go before their units go, which should help haste a bunch of units. So I'm hoping that he brings the G5 Luffy to the front, our G5 Luffy. But we'll see what happens there. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, which means we're going to take their G5 Luffy, which is just going to be an absolute pain. But hopefully, once we take this shot, we can just use our burst now to hopefully, kill a bunch of their units. There we go. There, Kuma, unfortunately, looks like he's going to go, which is just not good for us. I'm hoping he doesn't knock out our Luffy, but we'll see. And this is why that Luffy is just ridiculous. He can just hit so hard. He can just take out units himself, which is pretty awesome. The law is still forced out, which is good for us. We're just hoping that I can get an attack off with either King, Luffy, or... oof, that hurts. With King before their King can go. Okay, so they've used their burst, so that actually helps us out a little bit. Without their burst now, at least, they become a little bit less deadly there. So, like I said, second team is probably a free spirit team. So yeah, let's go ahead and take on that free spirit team. Hopefully it's Psy free spirit. Let's see. Yep, so yep, the normal Psy free spirit team. So. Yeah, ideally we'd have the Int Shanks on our team here, help out with some debuffs there, but obviously we don't. But that's not a big deal at all. We could use a burst if it even looks like it's getting close here, just because there's no harm for us to do that. Just because they don't have a burst for the third match, and we have our slashers going in that third match, who should be able to take on whatever team they have out there. Now they might have a slasher team in their last slot as well. We just don't know, unfortunately. So we'll just have to see what happens there. So yeah, you can see that special literally just wiped out their whole front line. It is a little risky going to that last match because now it's kind of, whatever team versus whatever team. But like I said, we got our victories for the day. So what's life without taking a little bit of risk and seeing if we can't see how this new Int Luffy does against some other different variations here. Because they were all forced out. That ends up giving us pretty much the automatic dub, which is pretty awesome. I didn't think about that. I probably should have not used the burst on the first match at all, and we would have had 2 for the first and last match. That's a kind of a lesson learned for future grand parties. So okay, yeah, so it's slasher versus slasher, which is interesting. They have pretty much the same build as ours, even down to pretty much the backbench as well. Only difference is we have the cat instead of Kawamatsu. But yeah, otherwise it looks like we have pretty much the exact same team there. So yeah, it'll just be a matter of who can go first. Their captain actually, I think, boosts them a little bit more, so their specials actually might be ready to go before ours. Is what is. So we'll just see. We'll just see who, unfortunately, yeah, that means all their specials are going to go first. So yeah, we're going to take a lot of shots here. And S-Hawk is going to be absolutely crazy in terms of what he can do. Yep. We're going to lose this one. That's fine. It is what it is. Let's skip that. And like I said, we can just play around. No worries. We got 10 wins, so not a big deal. All right. Let's just do update. We'll see some other teams here. See if there's some other unique captains here. Yeah, let's try this first team. Why not? Another base G5 captain. We're going to have our slashers go against their slashers, and then we can move around the second and third teams as we want. They don't have S-Hawks. Obviously, they're not nearly as kind of crazy as that last team that you saw was. So, yeah, hopefully with what we have, it should be pretty easy. Even their backbench isn't really too scary as well. So this team really feels like it's meant to be able to take on Psy units, right? They have some Psy debuffing units in both the front and back bench there. So luckily for us, none of our units are Psy except for, I think, yeah, even Cat's Int. So yeah, none of our units are Psy, so we really don't have to worry at all about this. Just going to wait till we can have our guys go, and should be a pretty easy match number 1. Of course, they do only have 1 burst because they have the G5 captain and they're debuffed this season. So it should be pretty easy to get through. That's good. We want to take at least a little bit of damage just so we can actually charge our burst. Yeah, at this point, it's GG's for us there. Because they get their burst by doing damage, they've only charged their burst gauge like 20%, which is kind of crazy. All right. Yeah, we'll just go with the strength team. It should be strength versus, I'm assuming, free spirit. So new ace on here. Wow, this is kind of an interesting team. So you have the new ace on here. You have the Robin and Koala unit there who can do a bunch of damage to free spirits. You have the Don Chinjiao who can forget specials there, make you forget specials. So or do special bond. I forget which one of the two. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Like I said, because there's so many free spirits on here, I should be able to blow out a bunch of the units. If they hit us with either their burst or with a G5 special, whatever one kind of happens first. All right, so he does special bind is what he does there. Unfortunately for us, our Luffy just missed out. But Kaido's still coming in and just doing a ton of damage there. So at this point, the match is pretty much, for all intents and purposes, pretty much over. Should be an easy victory from here on out. Luffy's just going to go and just destroy everyone. It's kind of funny that there was once a time where a 10k hit would be like, oh my god, they did a 10k hit, and now you have units like Int Luffy who, if you saw my video yesterday, did like a 33k hit on a couple of units, and it was absolutely ridiculous. Maybe it's more to how broken that unit is, but yeah, he's pretty cracked. So let's go ahead and take on this top team here. I'm gonna go ahead and use I'm gonna use my int team, I guess. Yeah, that sounds good. I'm gonna use my int team here. And just see how it goes. Like I said, with our Luffy, if he goes, he can knock out a bunch of free spirits. There's a bunch of free spirits on this team. In terms of like units that scare me on this team, obviously you have King on the bench, who is kind of scary. We don't have any powerhouse units here, so we shouldn't have to worry too much about the debuffs from Law. However, there is special bind with Odin, which is always a pain. I'm assuming that this guy has his Aokiji level limit breaked all the way. So that's a 3,500 or a 4k hit. I forget which one. So yeah, that could definitely hurt us if they get their moves off first. Now, luckily for us, because we have that Luffy as our unit, as our captain, I should say, we get a buffer increase to our speed, which just helps us go before kind of they get a chance to go. And the kind of the benefit of this team is that they hit really hard. Multiple hits oftentimes, like you'll see Atlas here. Not doing a ton of damage, but she does 5 hits there, then does a group hit, and then does a hit through defense. So it looks like she knocked out Aokiji, or Kuzan, which is awesome for us, because it means we don't have to take that hit. The downside, unfortunately, though, is that, to charge our burst, we actually want to take hits. So their burst is fully charged, so I'm fully expecting to have to take a burst off Riff either this match or very beginning of next match. Okay, so they're going to do it here. Charges ours, we'll just do it right back at him. And boom, just like that, you win. Like it's kind of broken versus free spirit teams. It's pretty much like a free win every time that happens. So in terms of team number 2, so it's going to be a most likely an int team. So I think how I want to approach this is the slasher team has a little bit more HP than that strength team. And if we take a burst, we'll end up getting our special charged. So that's kind of the goal. That's kind of what we're going to see if we can do. Unfortunately, once our units start going, once S-Hawk goes or once Roger Whitebeard go, it's going to trigger their burst like no problem, right? So that's the downside there, unfortunately for us. So we'll just see what happens. S-Hawk went. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to kill anyone. But this is that hit that we just took. Looks like Roger Whitebeard will be able to go, which will kind of help us out a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for some of their back bench to come in real quick. And then I'm just going to hit them with a nasty hit here. So we're going to give a burst right back to him. And yeah, with the 2 units that are left, it should be a pretty straightforward win for us. Shiki hitting because he's a slasher, which just helps us out. So yeah, there we go. Seems like a pretty good strategy. So yeah, we like these matches because you can learn some new things. And with the infinite retries, it just makes it so much funner. So Bandai, please, if you're listening, please keep this going forward into other grand parties. It's fantastic being able to kind of, try multiple teams. And it's not just RNG that determines whether you get the rewards or not. So like it. At the end of the day, make sure you go in and set your leader to a non-burst character. So, for example, I'm going to set mine to loss so people know that the strength team is in my bottom team. And he's a non-burst captain, so it should be pretty easy for people to get on there. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up today. We are 12 out of 10 so far for the season, so obviously we'll be back tomorrow with some random matches. Again, we'll try to do captains that we normally wouldn't face just because we get no penalty for losing, and we'll just learn more. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like, subscribe button if you haven't already. Until next time, be kind to each other. Thanks.